Hi everyone, good to come your way. This is Classic Sports. Okay, I want to do a little about politics. What is the difference between racism and tribalism? As far as I'm concerned, there is no difference between racism and tribalism. So sometimes when Africans, talk about racism on social media and all the other platforms, even physical interactions, I just look at them and I laugh. Because the person who is even saying that might be a tribalist. I'm telling you from as a historian, tribalism is far worse than racism. Should I give instances where somebody cannot get a job because of his tribe in Africa, in almost every African country, especially people, especially the places where you have black domination? You might not get a job because of your tribe. You might not get a job because of your nationality. You are also an African. The person is an African. The company belongs to an African. But you won't get a job because of your tribe or because of your nationality. You are targeted and killed because of your tribe. Should we go down the memory lane of Rwandan genocide, of Nigerian civil war, which still happens, where a particular tribe hates a particular tribe? So when an African sits somewhere and you are talking about racism, you are trying to criticize the whites. I am not saying that the whites are perfect. Some of them are also racist, but Africans are far worse. That's my opinion. I don't care what anybody thinks. Africans have more hatred for fellow Africans than whites even have for us. So nobody should sit anywhere and tell me about racism. I don't want to hear such things. It's not as if I'm defending the whites. I know some of them are also racist, but Africans should look themselves into the mirror. You are an African. I'm wearing a jersey. You are an African. But an African, fellow African, might not play for certain clubs because he's not from that country. He might not play for certain team because he's not the owner. He's not of the same tribe with the owner. So tribalism is far worse than racism. Tribalism is far. Some Africans will not allow their children to marry from certain tribes because they hate the tribe, because they see the tribe as being evil and things. This is not stories. This is what happens in Africa. Some African leaders will not develop certain places because the people didn't vote for them and they are for different tribe. They won't develop the place. Even if there are security challenges, they will not do anything to salvage it because those people are not of the same tribe with the leader. Africans are, I don't know how to describe Africans. Not all anyway. But so when an African comes to talk about racism, I don't want to listen. Charity begins at home. Show love. Drive away tribalism. That is the only way you can see well of the racism. But not when you are filled with tribal sentiment. You are filled with tribal hatred. You are filled with nationality. You are filled with xenophobic feeling. Then you are telling me about racism. Don't tell me anything about racism. Heal yourself from xenophobia. Heal yourself from chauvinism. Heal yourself from tribal sentiment. Heal yourself from ethnocentrism. Before you can tell me about racial discrimination, because blacks hate themselves more than even whites hate blacks. I'm telling you, I live in Africa, and I've traveled to several countries. You are denied certain privileges because you are not of that country, or you are not of the same tribe. I'm a historian. I read history. Any African country where I go to, I read their history. Even the slave trade, people are talking about slave. It wasn't not our African forefathers who sold people. Did the white people force us to sell ourselves, to sell our brothers? Some of the people who were sold as slaves, some of them were kidnapped. more than 50% were kidnapped. More than some percentage were people that society considered as outcasts. They were captured and sold into slavery. The whites didn't force us. We sold our brothers willingly because of our greed. That greed is still here. It's still prevalent till today. I'm telling you that from experience. I've traveled to several African countries. It's the same. Africans have more hatred than their fellow Africans, than even whites have for us. So nobody should tell me anything about racism. I don't want to hear it. Let us cure ourselves first as as black Africans, people with black head. Let us cure ourselves first of tribalism, xenophobia, before we can open our mouths and talk about, before we can have any justification to talk about racism. Other than that, don't tell me anything about racism. I don't want to hear it.